Once again, I paid zero attention to the horror show that is passing as the Republican National Convention last night. From the clips I've seen so far today, Wednesday, though, the picture I get is a house of mirrors, an abattoir, a psycho ward, a jail, a prison cell. I don't know how to describe the parade of zombies that I saw, that I've seen in the clips that I hear appeared for the Republican National Convention last night. And all the theatrical lighting and hail to the chief bullshit does not change the fact that these people are crazy. But anyway, the madness last night, Larry Kudlow, who is the top economic advisor to the Orange Ape, used his remarks during last night, the second night of this horror show, to give a master class in misdirection and revisionist history. That's the opening line of a very short article in Rolling Stone today online. And as the Stone points out, it's hard to know what part of Kudlow's speech to single out first for fact-checking, but perhaps the most egregious moment, and this is the one that's caught my attention because the clip has been played over MSNBC and CNN today, and it came when he referred to the COVID-19 pandemic in the past tense as if it were over. This is what Kudlow said, quote, "It was awful. Health and economic impacts were tragic. Hardship and heartbreak were everywhere. But presidential leadership came swiftly and effectively with an extraordinary rescue for health and safety to successfully fight the COVID virus." Was awful? Were tragic? Hardship and heartbreak were everywhere? That's what this son of a bitch is saying. And as the Stone points out, it is unfathomable that this needs to be said, but here it is. The COVID-19 pandemic is very much not over. Nearly 1,200 people died from the Trump virus yesterday, according to the COVID Tracking Project. Nearly 295,000 Americans were infected by the virus in the past 7 days, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In all, there have been more than 5.7 million cases and nearly 180,000 deaths. And this son of a bitch, Kudlow, there are so many indicators out there that make it painfully, glaringly obvious that the Trump pandemic is far from being a past tense event. And as far as this slimy little bastard, Larry Kudlow, his claim that, quote, presidential leadership came swiftly and effectively, end quote, what the hell? I mean, even allowing for election year bullshit and hype and campaign nonsense, this is beyond anything that even partially fits into the definition of practical, reasonable, logical, rational. And the Orange Ape's own remarks stand in direct contrast to what Kudlow said, that, quote, presidential leadership came swiftly and effectively. Oh, Jesus. This is an ape who told the CNBC, the Orange Ape, this bastard in the White House, told CNBC on January 22nd that he was, quote, not at all worried about the novel coronavirus, that we have it totally under control and it's going to be just fine. End quote, the ape. And on January 24th, 2 days later, the ape said, it will all work out well. And then on February 19th, the ape said, I think the numbers are going to get progressively better as we go along. And then on February 27th, said that the novel coronavirus was going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear. And that shit goes on and on and on. There is an endless record of the Orange Ape saying nonsensical things about the virus that he did nothing to try to intercept, intervene, stop, provide leadership, nothing. So Kudlow's remarks last night and Monday night's reality warping video montage that touted Trump's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic illustrate, as Rolling Stone points out, this administration's strategy for dealing with the deadliest pandemic in a century. You know what it is? Pretend it's not happening. Talk like it's already over and move on. Jesus Christ. In the meantime, according to the Times, there have been 26,000 plus cases of coronavirus at U.S. colleges and universities. At 750 different colleges and universities. Did you hear that? This idea of packing people together. I don't give a shit if it's in a kindergarten class or a postdoc lecture at a university. Cramming students and professors together in the midst of a pandemic. So the coronavirus cases are turning up by the thousands. At least 26,000 cases, according to tracking done by the New York Times, of more than 1,500 colleges and universities, including every four-year public institution, every private college that competes in the NCAA sports and others that identified cases. All of that tracking has revealed more than 26,000 cases and 64 deaths. And Larry Kudlow says, it's all in the past tense. And this filthy Trump ape wants people to believe this while people are dying? Jesus Christ. And according to Times, a lot of colleges have reported major spikes in recent weeks as dorms have reopened and classes have started. University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill sent most of its undergraduates home after clusters popped up in campus housing after they opened. Notre Dame delayed in-person classes because students tested positive by the dozens and then by the hundreds. Clemson, Baylor, Louisville, dozens of other Division I universities reported cases in their athletic departments. Oh, but let's go play football. In Iowa State, aggressive testing of students moving into dorms turned up scores of cases. So the data show where the virus has been identified over the course of the Trump pandemic, not necessarily where it's prevalent now. Because as these kids, these students come from all over the country and show up where they're going to be tested, who's to say And nobody's to say, if you're logical, that they caught the disease at school, on campus. They're bringing it in with them and spreading it. Talk about super spreaders. And since late July, the Times has counted more than 20,000 additional cases in the past month. So with no national tracking system, which is another failure of this rotten son of a bitch in the White House, no national tracking system. Colleges are trying to make their own rules for how to keep track of or tally these cases as they present. And while this is believed to be the most comprehensive survey available, the one that the Times publishes, it's also an undercount. Because there's no strategy. There's no national tracking system. This is where this filthy, subhuman Donald Trump has failed. Just one area where he's failed. Well, but Larry Kudlow and the ape want you to believe that it's all in the past. It's all past tense, don't you know? Madness. Hey, Truth Seekers, Mike Malloy here. While you're sheltering in place and practicing safe social behavior, probably catching up on the Malloy cast, remember, we have a new weekly program just for our patron supporters. There are other thank you gifts for your support. Remember, visit MikeMalloy.com and click on the big patron link on the main page. You can't miss it, and we can't do without you.